Our next session will highlight some Jordanian success stories and case studies related to Fintech by Jordanian companies and startups locally, regionally, and globally. Join me in welcoming the panelist speakers in What's Happening in Jordan in regards to Fintech session. Our moderator will be Engineer Hazem Mulhim, founder and CEO of Eastnets. Also, allow me to welcome Ms. Maha Bahou, CEO of Jordan Payments and Clearing Company. Engineer Mohammad Tahboub, the President and CEO of Bayanat. Ms. Maha Saeed, CEO of Gate to Pay. Engineer Naser Saleh, Executive Chairman and founder of MadfooatCom. The is for the moderator.
Thank you. صباح الخير جميعا. Good morning, everybody. I would like to thank Intaj and to welcome you on this nice day, and hopefully we'll have a good session and we will be able to interact with you if there are any questions. Anyway, the session today is going to be about Fintech, and as you all know, Fintech, which is financial technology, has started as long as the 1950s with the introduction of the first credit cards, followed afterwards with the ATMs, and followed with electronic interaction with the stock markets. And then, of course, with the thrive with the internet, we had the e-commerce and, of course, what comes after that. But the trigger event was in 2008, after the financial crisis, where Fintech became something that is very important and part and parcel of this current technology. Since 2008 till today, $11 billion have been invested, $110 billion have been invested in the financial services and mainly financial technology, which is the Fintech. And of course, the main centers globally in the Fintech, as we all know, China and UK and the USA. But of course, the Fintech had a very important role, not only with the technology and the talents and the challenging of the current banking system, but also at the same time, we had lots of usages because, you know, the Fintechs, they either complemented or competed with the banks with various models, because what they could extend to the unbanked and what kind of social impact they had in the financial inclusion. In Jordan, we as a country out of the emerging countries, we believe Fintech has contributed a lot to the community. And this contribution had various impacts. And today, you know, with our colleagues here, we will be talking about the impacts that we have had from the Fintech itself. The colleagues here, they represent various backgrounds, and they come from the information technology and the Fintech, and their contribution has paramounted to something that is very useful, either to the unbanked or to in the financial inclusion and or to the various other sectors, followed by, you know, following the strategy of the central bank in implementing digital payments. So today I would like to welcome our colleagues, and I will start the first question with Mohammad Tahboub. Mohammad, he is a pioneer, and you know, as a pioneer in this industry, can you just give us, some background about the fintech financial services and your contribution?
Thank you, Hazem. Can you hear me? Maybe I'll go back to what my friends in the other sessions started with, talking about the fintech and the infrastructure in Jordan. I think that fintech is basically, it's not a one-time incident. It's a result of a journey that we lived in Jordan starting in the 1980s, when the banks in Jordan started investing in creating infrastructures and data centers and creating core banking systems and creating connectivity and modules and so on. And basically started creating more products for the market, which resulted in having a good, solid financial system in Jordan with multiple banks serving Jordan and the region as well. And some of the good aspects of the financial sector in Jordan is that the Jordan financial sector is expanding to the region as well. And we started seeing Jordanian banks going to Palestine, going to Saudi, going to Iraq, and to Syria as well, and serving multiple countries around the region. That's part of the ecosystem that is important to look at. And as a result of that, there emerged also a solid ICT sector that is serving the financial sector in Jordan. So we have hundreds of companies now working in the ICT industry in Jordan, even thousands maybe. Many of them are working in the financial sector. And we help the banks basically build their infrastructure services and software and connectivity and data services to serve the different clients. So two parts of the ecosystem are also supported by the fact that we have an excellent education sector in Jordan that is really developing a good pool of resources that is serving the ICT sector in Jordan. We have around 7,000 graduates of ICT in Jordan that is serving Jordan and the region, which really is providing lots of innovation and services to the ICT sector in Jordan. In addition to that, emerged the telecom industry in Jordan, which helped us create lots of connectivity in Jordan. We have now fiber services serving the country, fiber to the home, good speeds, and that is, and we have a 100% penetration of internet across the country, which is also serving as a base for the fintech innovation that is happening now in Jordan. Supported by a solid regulation framework that is coming from the Central Bank of Jordan. In full transparency, the Bank of Jordan, the Central Bank of Jordan, really was an early adopter of the new trends in the fintech arena. They provided for the digital payments framework, and we were one of the early starters. And they provided a very flexible framework for the cloud adoption in Jordan. We introduced the Credit Pro, which it's really improving the credibility assessment of the clients and helping financial inclusion. We allowed for micro financing in Jordan. We have 9 licenses for the microfinancing. We have a sandbox as a Central Bank of Jordan. So basically, a comprehensive set of legislations and regulations serving the industry to move forward. So in a comprehensive nutshell, basically, we started having an ecosystem that is ready to leap forward. And this is what happened in Jordan when we started implementing the different pillars of the fintech in Jordan. We started and we advanced very well in the digital payments arena. We have a solid ecosystem of the digital payments in Jordan, starting with the SWIFT. We started with the SWIFT early on, then followed by the JoPACC, and then the ACH, the RTGS, the Click, the instant payment, and the digital wallets as well, and MadfooatCom. So basically, we have a comprehensive ecosystem of payments, which really helped Jordan at one point in time to overcome the pandemic, because when we went, all of us home, we all needed to transact, and the digital payment framework that we had in Jordan helped us all as individuals and as companies to really continue doing business in a normal way. And looking at the numbers at this point in time, in 2022, we have around $4.4 billion of business on the digital payments, and we expect to have $6.5 billion in the digital payments arena in 2025. I exceeded my limit, sorry for that.
Yeah, thank you, Mohammad. Having mentioned the pandemic, And of course, the digital transformation, this is very important because with the pandemic has been a trigger event, not only for awareness and for us to be taking care of our health system and our health life, but also it was a very important trigger event to look at the digital transformation globally and locally. And with that being said, one of the aspects of digital transformation has been the application of the mobile wallets and how we're using the mobile wallets. And of course, when people are not able, to use cash or even, to go out, in the lockdowns, how would you see that, Ms. Maha, being an owner of a mobile wallet, and how did this help, in the digital transformation and in the financial inclusion?
Thank you, Hazem. First of all, would like to thank the attendees, whether physically here, having them, or virtually. And lucky to be part of the Jordan Fintech representatives to present Jordan, Fintechs, or the future, if I may say. Going back to your question, is basically, I believe that the digital payments, whether on wallets or prepaid cards, have tackled a niche that the banking sector is not tapped on or not serving. And saying this, going back to the statistics, we know that we have like almost 40% the rate of the financial inclusion, which leaves us at a big room of untapped or unserved communities. The mobile wallets, although it's not as much as we would want it to be as adoption, it's worth it to say that pre-COVID, it was 400,000 users, and now it's 1.8 million. So a lot of adoptions has been going on. And to give you more of what we serve, and basically, we do give a solution, a reliable, trusted, governed solution to the entities to be able to serve their employees, their vendors, and to go into a cashless community. Would like to showcase one of our examples that we work in at Gate to Pay. Is basically the factory sector. It was an untapped, unserved industry where we have managed to actually serve both ends, whether the factory itself by giving it a reliable, accessible 24/7 module. We have managed to integrate with all the different infrastructures through our APIs, since we are also a tech arm, not only a financial arm. And basically, back to back, we have given the employees a tool through the mobile wallets, through the mobile itself, and prepaid cards. As fintech goes and its evolvement and adapting the needs for this market, the untapped market, we started off with just giving them the mobile wallet or the prepaid card just to withdraw cash and to take out their salaries and move them from to the cashless environment. Going forward, we managed we're happy to say that we were among the first in Jordan to move into integrating with money transfer options like MoneyGram, because these non-Jordanians at these factories, 80% of their income is basically geared towards a money transfer to their families. And moving even forward, we tried, of course, to train and educate people. We saw that the language barrier was a big barrier to move people to actually using the app and using the transfers model from one-to-one or abroad. So we moved it forward and actually done a bilingual application. And we've put in the Sri Lankan, Nepali, Filipino, and all the different languages. Along with the educational part, we've seen it grow drastically on usage. Even for the factories for Jordanians, actually would like to share something which was actually interesting for us and surprising. when we started giving the labor of the Jordanian sector, we were afraid that they're not used to that tool, and it will take us time for them to adopt it. And to our surprise, not only they loved it and they were requesting it, so that we across from the geographical locations and the easy tool, they actually started using their cards on online purchases. And basically 30% of their usage was on online purchases. And that shows you that these are untapped markets, untapped people that needs financial services, but on an easy tool, easy onboarding. As today, maybe you know that we're moving also to the digital onboarding with the facilitation of the regulations from central bank, which also gives it a nice model, cost-effective, easy to onboard, no geographical barriers or no, let me say, religious purposes or any, or some people are scared even to go to the banks. So I think we've done the 360 from both the company or the factory through the whole platform we are giving with the full authority matrix and the full-fledged tool, and as well for the users to start learning and adopting the financial services and increasing the financial inclusion accordingly.
Taib, excellent, thank you. I believe, first of all, the workers nowadays are not, the workers that you're used to, because nowadays they are mobile savvy, they know how to use the mobile, the adaptation rate is very high, so this is one part. And then on the other part, of course, the cross-border transfers are really important. And the third part of it that is related, to our own, workers or our own people, using these facilities, because by the end of the day, you're talking about people who are native of using the technology, has it been the online or the mobile payments or even the mobiles. With that being said, I'm sure, maybe the second question and the second round, this puts you, at the cusp of the digital banking, because, offering these debit cards and giving opportunity to employees to withdraw money, yes. This is, the second leg, of the journey. I'll go to our colleague Naser, and I think Naser is a pioneer in whatever he has started in Jordan, and his contribution in the financial services is very high contribution. And I believe Naser MadfooatCom has been a pioneer in the fintech services in Jordan that has onboarded a huge base of various clients. Can you just please give us, who are these clients and what is the value proposition that you are giving them? Because, lots of us, in the electronic bill presenting and payment are shy of understanding the whole model. So can you give us, please, who are your clients and what is the value proposition that you offer?
Thank you, Hazem. Actually, in Jordan, MadfooatCom and the other fintech companies, our colleagues, we are lucky that the central bank and the government in general are supportive really to the fintech scene from early days. So what we did, we had one of the first public-private partnerships with the Central Bank of Jordan and JoPACC to build the National Electronic Bill Presentment and Payment System, which is called MadfooatCom. Now, MadfooatCom, when it was officially launched in 2015, it integrated and connected all banks, mobile wallets, and hundreds of payment service providers from one side. With the other side, more than 400 billers. When I say billers, government entities, private sectors, telecom, utilities. And this really offered the opportunity for Jordanians and residents in Jordan. Actually, we have more than 3 million customers currently, the ability to inquire and pay their payments. Hundreds or thousands even of services currently, they can do it through MadfooatCom. And in the last few years, MadfooatCom processed more than 90 million bills with an amount of around $50 billion. Now, the good thing really in Jordan, we are lucky that the ecosystem, like my colleague said, is really a comprehensive system. For example, MadfooatCom is used to top up the mobile wallets. And at the same time, the mobile wallets are used to pay the bills. So, and also to pay your credit cards balances or to charge or top up your prepaid credit cards. So we are really happy. And personally, I'm very proud to say that in Jordan, we have really a very comprehensive system, a fintech ecosystem that's helping the people to be more, let's say, or to have more financial inclusion. And one of the best examples was through the pandemic of the corona, like my colleague said. I mean, you know, people were not able to go outside of their homes, but they were able to pay their internet connections, to top up their wallets, to transfer money through the wallets and through the other systems of the fintech systems.
Thank you, excellent. I believe MadfooatCom, and now you are becoming part of the ecosystem of the strategy that has been given by the Central Bank of Jordan. And as we know, Ms. Maha Bahou, she is the CEO for JoPACC. JoPACC, as a matter of fact, is a company that is owned by the Central Bank and by Jordanian banks. And JoPACC has been implementing the strategy that has been put by the Central Bank of Jordan for the digital payments. But before we talk about digital payments, I believe in your strategy, you have put 3 important milestones or pillars to implement this strategy. Can you tell us, please, what has been achieved so far? And then we can talk about the other parts later on.
JoPACC 1, our first strategy, is supposed to end this year, and we're now planning and analyzing the market even for JoPACC 2. But for the first 3 years of JoPACC 1, we finalized out of the 3 main pillars, the part that focus on more usage and more adoption and better access. So we're working on enhancing digital liquidity within the ecosystem, promoting more of digital financial services and digital payments, providing more access to vulnerable people or those who are excluded. So the financial inclusion rate is almost doubled now, more than doubled, and they are all digital financial inclusion. So it's not the very basic. We're not counting them when I talk about digital financial inclusion. The second pillar, we're talking about operating, modernizing, developing a new payment ecosystem. We finalized the launching of Click, our instant payment system that is very comprehensive. It includes different types of services, not only push payment, but request to pay and notifications, confirmations. The features we have within Click, I am so honored and proud to say only England was the first country to provide the full pledge of different services. We launched them all in Jordan, and we finalized the integration between JoMoPay, Jordan Mobile Payment Switch, and the Click. So all payment service providers today, as of today, as wallets, they are upgraded to the latest ISO standards 222. The financial messages are information-rich, very accurate, allow traceability for users and their service providers to prevent and eliminate fraud, identity thefts, or cyber attacks. So this is a part where we finished, and we're working now on eKYC and digital financial identity project. We partnered with the government for the validation of identities to make sure that I am who I am claiming to be, with full digital evidences required by the financial regulator for full eKYC, including customers, individuals, Jordanian, non-Jordanian refugees, entities, companies, NGOs, full-fledged of electronic customer due diligence and digital signatures. So you're digitally signed and approved on the ecosystem. The eKYC, the first part we are finalizing. Part of them are launched. We have all banks as of today onboarded. Some of the payment service provided finalized the integration. The second phase of the project, tomorrow, who will attend the exhibition will have the opportunity to do like demo onboarding with us and having a digital identity. We're working on digitances for digital cross-border remittances within our ecosystem. So we're trying to revamp the whole ecosystem in this regard. The third one, and I'm so proud of, and this is one of the very close to my heart, knowledge creation, knowledge dissemination. We think and do tank. So it's a think tank in this area. We try to create, design knowledge products. We test our intervention in the market before requesting the participants to put a huge investment in changing and improvement. We compare results between controlled group and other group, or before and after. So this kind of knowledge products I'm so proud of. Others, we partner with academic institutions like universities in Jordan, the recent one, Fletcher School University, Tufts University in Boston. We partner with NGOs, with international donors, Gates Foundation, GIZ, USAID, etc. And we try to do kind of research in the market, kind of feasibility, other kinds of intervention where we have something robust to share with the partners. We don't want just to do things because it's a trend. We don't want the hype to control our trends. We have to work in a very smart and prudent way in the digital transformation, and that's what we're trying to do in this pillar.
Okay, excellent. I think this is a very challenging project because the first part that we are talking about, from ACHs, RTGS, mobile switches, and then, the electronic check clearing, and now we're talking about instant payments. With the instant payments, as we all know, that we are talking about, for example, in Europe, they are talking now about 2 seconds. But there are lots of challenges that come, with instant payments. Because when we're talking about 2 seconds, you're talking about AML, we have to make sure that we're combating money laundering. We have to make sure that we are combating, the fraudulent activities, etc. Now, regarding, the second part, which is related to eKYC, this would require maybe a blockchain. So we are not aware how much you are in that part. We'll talk maybe in the second part of the questions about the eKYC, the blockchain, and the AML. But the question now is for Mohammad, Tahboub. The digital payments, as you saw, is one pillar of the fintech. But we know that financial sector in Jordan is making extreme progress towards digital transformation, and Jordanian fintechs are contributing to that. Can you please shed some light, the contribution, especially that we talked about, about the ACH and about the instant payment, and she highlighted, Maha, she highlighted about instant payment. What is your
Thank you, Hazem.
Input on that?
Actually, you're right. Actually, digital payments is one pillar of the fintech arena. But basically, I like one of the surveys that was talking about what would clients be looking at when they deal with banks. And the survey came back with like 5 or 4 pillars, saying we'd like to deal with banks that make it easier for us to do banking with, faster access to our facilities and transactions, better customer experience, and at lower cost. So whatever happens in the bank that helps any of these pillars is considered to be an enhancement and a digital transformation. And we in Jordan the companies are trying to help the banks to achieve these pillars and trying to really transform the processes and the way our banks are handling business in order to achieve better return on investment and a better customer experience, whether on the retail or the SME side. Now, bank accounts used to be very sticky in the old times. Now they're getting less sticky because of the fintech arena. But if we find ways to help banks to attract and acquire customers, then they will be sticky and they will come back for the bank for better business. Now, in my company, we're doing something for the SMEs. We figured out through a survey in the regional market that SMEs are less served than the retail industry. So we are trying to create a product that is basically focused on SME, attending to SMEs, better provision of service to SMEs, faster time to lending to SMEs, better accessibility to finance. And it provides the bank with a 360 view of any of the SMEs so that they can do cross-selling and upselling and cross-selling for the SME and better serve their needs. We did a very good experience with one of the banks in Jordan. It was one of a kind in the region. Bank of Jordan implemented a full stack CX system to serve customers on the SME and corporate side. And it extremely enhanced the services that are provided to SMEs. And basically, it helped them achieve better results and better return on investment and less turnover of clients. So this is happening, and we're trying to expand this experience to the region. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think we have to make sure also about the time. And if, because the subjects are really interesting and there is lots of information that we would like to share with everybody around here. Coming back to you, Maha, we talked about the digital banks, and I understand that you are hoping to go for a bank as a service, yeah? And this is, of course, something that is very unique because you have to build the whole ecosystem of partnering with groceries, with the people, and of course the awareness that Bahou talked about. So can you please shed some light on digital as service and how it will be implemented in Jordan? And mainly the target is in financial inclusion. So like this, we can reach to the unbanked, especially that in Jordan, there 50% of the population are unbanked.
Thank you, Hazem. Actually, we are already in the BaaS model, in the banking as a service. And the beauty of the offerings we give under this umbrella is basically serving all kinds of sectors, the different sizes of companies, whether startups, micros, SMEs, corporates. And these tools are giving, in a way, are very different from the banks, what the banks are offering, because it's agile. It actually gives the companies and the businesses the ability to structure their own identity, to put their own community and their own rules on their digital payments capabilities and tools. Saying this, of course, it extends to all, it's any two-way payments. It's going across all different sectors in all geographical areas. So basically, it serves everybody with the ability of going into a more advanced platforms without, going into only a bank would only give it an accessible tool on the banking part. Here, it's giving us the full-fledged of any technical integrations of any branding or identity or business model that they actually want to adopt. So it's another niche, it's another segment, and serves all kinds of targeted segments, if I may say.
So we are hoping, with the digital as a bank to have a better reach, a more reach, even, in the countryside, even, to the rural areas and Jordan Valley and all these, because, I realize that those people that we need to invest in, especially, they are in dire need, of accessing cash. And of
course, and we would like to add here that this is part of women empowerment, because today these tools are actually a great tool for women working in any area or even from their home. So it's facilitating to a very big segment to today untapped, and an easy reach to whatever kind of business they want to operate from rural areas or from home even, and with some independency on their financial aspect as well.
Excellent. So this rhymes, with what Maha is saying, hopefully. But the question now is for Naser. Naser, it's imperative to highlight that users are more active on mobile banking front when it comes to the standard banking activities, namely balance checking and bill payments, given that it's easy to access, yeah? Are you considering to enhance the service further? Yeah, so I'll leave the question. And what's your strategy in the short term?
Thank you. Actually, yeah, we saw a very good increase or exponential even increase in customers paying through the apps, either the banking apps or even MadfooatCom app and the wallets. So what I think the digital banking, talking about digital banking, the wallets will become the digital banks, I think, by time. From our side, we are really, that's why we are planning to have more services for MadfooatCom app and the wallet apps. Mainly, like Maha said, remittances, buy now, pay later, insurance, so that you have all your services in your app. Also, I think what's missing in the mobile wallets, let's say, compared to digital banks, is the IBAN. I think this is also something we'll try to work with the banks and central bank if we can also offer that. That will enable us really to move into the, what we call it, digital banking or super app, where you have all your daily services and monthly services on your app, so you don't need really to physically visit any service provider or visit your bank, so you have it all in your app.
Excellent, thank you, Naser. The last question for Ms. Maha Bahou, and I'll start with this one and then maybe راح اشطح لحالي. Yeah, so the open banking is based on 3 fundamental pillars: regulation, standardization, and collaboration. So naturally, you have a well-regulated sector because you have the backing of the central bank. You have the standardization because you talked about ISO 222 now. And then, of course, the collaboration, natural with all the colleagues here, and I'm sure there are others that you're collaborating with. So the central bank has a fundamental role in terms of regulation. Standardization is a responsibility, I said, and the collaboration, etc. So my question is, you talked about instant payment, and you talked about the eKYC, and you talked, about the other offerings that you are hoping to. Myself, for example, as a Jordanian, if I have 2 bank accounts, I have the JK account, I have this housing bank account, and then I have usually, a problem because I have to log into this. And now, with the instant payment and the trends that are going and the PSPs that are available, in the industry, we are talking about open payments, open banking. Where are we, in Jordan with this? And what are your plans since, you have all the industries and you have this as a strategy?
Actually, Hazem, this is maybe one of the most important questions because this is how we can craft the future of digital banking and digital financial services in Jordan. Maybe you know, and everyone, that we have like 3-4 types of opening areas. So besides the regulation, the central bank should be very specific regarding opening the bank's APIs, whether they will make it mandatory or voluntarily, or they should specify specific APIs that should be opened for fintech and other players. The other one, should they go into standardized APIs? We're not only talking about payment with 222, but we're talking about how they are going to do it. And the central bank discussed this with us, that we will work with the banking sector and the non-bank financial institutions. It's not specific any longer to banks. So we're talking about the whole industry, how we are going to collaborate and to put the standards for the market and the infrastructure. Now we're talking open banking. We have open banking in Jordan since long time ago when the banks opened their APIs for the initiation of payment for cards, for ATMs, for other parts of services. The open API is like proprietary technology, and it's there, but the most important two areas that are not well covered and transparent till this moment to the market, that's what we're working on for the coming second strategy. Open data now becoming in a very good area, and with the support of the government and the Ministry of Digital Economy, and the other one, open finance. When you open data in a structured, secured, and comprehensive manner, giving the customers full control over their data through consent management system over blockchain. And this is the project we're working on, JoPACC, Central Bank, all banks, non-banks, and the government of Jordan. And should be, by the way, should be live and operational by August max. So this will enable me to share the data after the government accepted us to give us the access to the government data to protect them, enable them. This is what I call data democracy. I have my data. The government, they allow me to give consent to Dinara, Gate to Pay, Bank al-Ittihad, Housing Bank, to get my data. And I can even make identity when I give the consent to another bank. So my data, my identity is the same. After that, we should start working on open finance. We're not talking about digital payment banks. We have digital payment banks like the wallet providers, and all banks, they have part of the solution. We need open financing. We need the regulator and the community to work on regulations, standardization, so I can have full package of services. The spectrum from opening wallet to saving to insurance to wealth management to cash management to credit facilities to crowdfunding to everything. And that's where I see the huge potential for all of you here. You have to start working on that, and we will enable definitely the data to be structured, to be organized, so the information for the whole market will be well informed, feasibility will be affordable. So you have all to start exploring what innovations you can bring to Jordan, what new innovations you can add, and what you can providing. And this will be like very transparent to the market, well articulated and discussed by maximum September this year, because we will be working on this strategy next year. I see huge potential for every single one here, whether they provide the technology, they provide the service, they are startups, entrepreneurs, or even investors. We are today starting from where Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Europe, Singapore ended. So we have an edge to learn from them and to add to it. We need a value-added ecosystem, full chain, full supply and demand chain.
Excellent. Thank you, Maha. I believe, with whatever Maha has been saying, this is thanks, to what has been taking place recently in digital transformation, and mainly in the financial industry. Because, nowadays, a bank wants to continue its offering. If they want to continue their offering, they will need to have the KYC. With people, cannot move from one place to the other. eKYC can be an opportunity to create a repository system where then, people can have different accounts in different banks with the eKYC. And of course, now with the use of the blockchain, this will facilitate and make it faster and better. So like this, there is a shareware. And of course, in Jordan, we are trying to link that with the National ID Authority. So like this, there is a linkage, so there is no fraudulent activity. So this is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it, of course, when we are talking about cloud usage. So when we are talking about digital banks, or we are talking about mobile wallets, or the transformation. So having the cloud now, with the acceleration that is taking place globally, whether we have local clouds like the STS offering or like the Azure or the other cloud offering, this can be a great opportunity for us also to transform. So this is the second part in the journey for digital transformation. The third part, when we are talking about onboarding in the banks, we are talking nowadays about digital onboarding. So this will help to fast track the KYC. So like this, I don't have to visit the bank so they can take my fingerprints or my photo. Nowadays, the digital onboarding, has lots of growth in it. So this is also another area. And of course, the list goes on because we do have payment service provider in Jordan. We do have the technology, and we do have the people. Of course, there have been all the time we are talking about souk.com or Maktoub, but last month, for example, or the last 2 months, 5 Jordanian companies have been either acquired or they have merged, with regional companies. And this is something that is very important because when we are talking about software industry, بدها مال قارون وصبر أيوب. So you can translate this in English the way you want because, the sky is the limit, and this would require lots of patience and lots of investments. And this is where we hope, from this platform today, that we can have the message, to the industry that Jordan is a hub that is regulated. We have the talents, we have the opportunities, and we hope, that we will have more investments in Jordan in the financial industry. With that, I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I thank my colleagues for this plenary. Thank you very much.